Hello my friends, welcome back. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. So, it's fusion time. It is fusion time. Let's take a little look at the news. Let's read some more. Let's look at this roly-poly Lizardman, Vergum Car. A support type champion, green affinity, he is Spirit. As stated, is a Lizardman. And you will need 4 champions to fuse him. You need Fane, Baroth the Bloodsalt, Caden, Tuhak the Wanderer. 3 of them will be available through events and tournaments. Other one than you fuse, etc. etc. So we have Fane, who 4 rares, you can fuse this one, but same as it's always going to be. This is an old school fusion. Before it changed to fragments, this is completely old school, meaning we'll exit here, and I'll give you a better example of what I mean by old school fusion. I'll show you this one, Razin. This is the one person I have not done yet, because I'm just lazy and I don't know why. It's my head. Okay, Vergum card. This is the fusion here. So 16 champions, you get the 16 rares, you get to level 30, you use some food, get them to 4 star, get them to 40, you ascend them, and you do it with every single one of that rares. And then you go up, then it gives you the epics. Then with the epics you've got to get up to 40, get them to 5 star, get them to 50, get them ascended, and then you can finally fuse Vergum car. So I mean, it's a fusion's a fusion, but the thing is, Palladium have kind of been extremely underhanded in the way that they went about this one, because we keep champions in the vault for a reason. You know, we keep voids, we keep rares, we keep epics in the vault for fusions, so we can get the champion. But of the 22 new champions, 21 is here. So all these new rares and new epics, you're going to be sacrificing just to get this one legendary. And just be very careful with your resources. This is not free to play friendly. This is not something that if you're free to play you will be able to do. You can't, there's scattered champions all over the place. So it's not like you can get the first couple that do jump chaining and get them leveled up. Palladium have pretty much made this full stop, you will work for it, and that's just how it's going to be. Good on you, Palladium. I wouldn't expect anything less. Before we look at this Vergum card, this fat roly-poly Lizardman, we're just going to take a look at some of the other champions, because the champions that you're sacrificing, some of these rares, they are worth a mention. So when we go to Sacred Order, one of the rares, Purgator, this is one of the rares for the fusion. Now if I get this champion, I'm half tempted not to even go for the legendary, because I just think he's pretty decent. So for a rare, it attacks one enemy 2 times, will ignore shield buffs. Perfect. For an A1, that's awesome. If his damage multipliers are high, then you could be looking at some serious damage from a rare. When it attacks all enemies, inflicts 10% extra critical damage for each debuff on this champion. Put him in with grip tuck, and then that poisons will give you a 30% extra crit damage. Stacks up to 50%. So on an A2, 3 turn cooldown. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong at all. And this is like Rotor. You increases your target max HP by 20%, other damage inflicted, and you keep attacking it, shoot a bit, just pretty much keep going down. For a rare champion that's new, I mean, he's pretty good. I just don't understand why we have these new champions, and we're going to be leveling them up to 30, getting them 4 star, getting them to 40, getting bruising him, using a big ass pile of resources on this champion just to put him in the bin. It's just, It's very weird. It's very, very weird. Another one. We're not gonna go through all these. We'll name a few. Headsman. Headsman is extremely tempting to me. Now he's kind of like his Skull Crusher's cousin in the way he looks. But attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit is a 10% chance, 20% when booked, of placing a fear debuff for a turn. Fear debuff means you're just going to control whether it's a wave of dungeons, whether it's a Doom Tower, Dragon, Golem. And then the A2, it's an AoE, which is always good. 30% chance goes up to 50% chance when booked. And it's a rare, so it should be easy to get him booked up, with 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. Yet again, a nice little A2, and this is on a rare champion. And if they're under a heal reduction, you'll do 15% more damage. So he comes in, boom, throws up heal reduction. Then puts up fears, so they can't heal themselves, they can't attack, and they're suffering more damage because of that heal reduction. This is a champion. If you're not going to do this whole fusion, he is definitely one to think about. And while we're in Sacred Order, we have Sanctum Protector. 15% chance of placing a stun, and it can be booked to 25%, which is okay. That was based off defense as well. His defense 1200. Pretty good to start off with. AoE and an A2. Then he places an increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. So he attacks. 3 turn cooldown when booked. And after he attacks, then he puts the buff on. Which I quite like. I like that. The A2 is quite nice. This is a dungeony, faction-y wars kind of champion. Attacks when enemy has a 70% chance of placing a provoked debuff. That's just all down to CC. So CC on that move, we've got AoE increased defense. So if you put him with Ultan, any defense champion, it is a small version. It's not the massive version, so he's not great, but he's, of all these new champions, he's actually pretty decent. A small stun. When we move out of Sacred Order, I think we're going to have a little look in the Barbarians. And we'll just give a quick shout out to the new legendary Ursaga War Collar and that Macho Shield. Just be nice, we'll give a shout out. So I have a Dune Strider. This is another rare. It's what enemy attacks and chance decreased defense 2 for 2 turns. That's so. Each critical hit decreases the target's turn meter 10%. Only decreases the turn meter once per target. Okay, so if that 3 random attacks go at the same person, only going to put down the turn by 10%. That kind of makes it kind of sucky. AoE then attacks the enemy with the lowest HP. Heal reduction, so she isn't one of the best. Although we do have Baroth the Blood Soul. Now this is one of the champions that you can fuse for this. We're not going over all of them. We're just going to cover a few just to show you what we're looking at. So that's one enemy 2 times. First hit, the 20% chance of filling the champion's turn by 10%. And the second hit has 20% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter. So you steal the turn meter and he's gaining it. So I'll take it from you, I'll give it to me. You know, it's decreasing, increasing. It's complete crowd control, and it's a HP champion. That was based off of HP. Beginning HP is 20,000, so it's actually really good. First hit places a shield equal to 25% of the damage inflicted. Like I say, give him loads of HP, he'll do damage, and the second hit heals all allies for 10%. Or damage inflicted, so you give him a high HP, you're going to be healing people pretty good as well. This move, however, is pretty good. This is the Serpent Axes. The first hit has a 75% chance of placing the big version of decreased attack debuff for 2 turns, and 75% chance of removing any increased attack buffs. So if you went in with Gore Grab or Battle Sage for the attack up, he's just going to come in and strip it and put on attack down. And the second tip is if you've got somebody that's coming in giving you increased defense, he's going to strip it and give you decreased defense. It's 4 turn cooldown, can't be booked any lower. Pretty decent move. For this epic champion, one that can be fused, one you may actually get from a shard, believe it or not. He isn't really that bad. We'll go Vergum card just in a second. But if we quickly nip in to Dark Elves, because there is one that's extremely interesting. Is it Dark Elves we're looking for? Am I in the right one? Is this Dark Elves? Okay, where is this little person I'm looking for? No, well, Caden's here. Caden is one that I have my eye on if I don't go through with this fusion. Caden has a really good kit. Attacks one enemy. 15% chance of placing a provoked debuff for 1 turn. Fantastic. 15% chance goes to 30. Perfect. AoE, 75% chance, 100 when booked, of placing the big decrease attack for 2 turns. So he comes in, he floors the whole wave. AoE, takes the attack down. Perfect. You can't complain with that first 2 moves. With his Dungeons, Faction Wars, it's all perfect. Now this move here is Dungeons, Faction Wars, just stamp with approval, because he'll revive 2 random allies with half their HP, and he'll give them increased defense. So if his defensive champions you've paired with him, when he revives them, they're going to get a massive boost in defense. They get a HP, their defense is going to go through the roof. This is one of the champions to keep a lookout for, 110% through this event. Now, I'm not really sure. Let's go Vergum card, because this is the champion that all of this hard work is for. This is a new champion to fuse, and it just seems, like I say, underhanded, a bit kind of weird that we keep all these champions in the vault and we can't use any. I mean, there's Fane is a great champion. Fane is awesome, and I just don't get why we would get all these good champions just to use your resources, effectively waste resources just to get this guy. Don't get me wrong, his kit is great as well. We'll have a look through it. Support champion, damage based off of attack, which is kind of weird. 35% chance, 45 when booked, placing a stun, and the chance increases by 15% for each buff on the target. Like again, you get a Gerp Tuck, that's a 45%, so it gives you 3 poisons. So moves all provoked debuffs, and 1 random debuff from all allies, which is pretty good. He will increase your defense for 2 turns. You have had debuffs removed, and he'll put a shield on all allies. 20% of his HP. His HP to begin with is 22,000, which is not shabby at all. You stack him a high HP, he's going to do a lot of work for you. His Crushing Trample is AoE, removes 1 random buff from each target. Cool. 75% chance of removing 2 buffs from each enemy. Even better. Block heal debuff for 3 turns on enemies. If you have 1 of my buffs removed, then any places decreased defense. So this is just a great way to nullify your enemy. We'll be able to heal. If they're a defense based champion, they're going to suffer for it. If their defense goes down, on the contrary, when you hit them, you'll have less defense to defend against any attacks. The sword in Stoic, this is something really good. Immune to provoke debuffs. I'll let it soak in for a second. Just think I no rog with this done. Immune. Let's let it soak in. It doesn't matter who it is. This could work in arena. I don't know how the rest of the kit would go, but in arena, you know you're going to have people try to provoke you and all kinds of shit. So, and also filter trap means turn meter by 20% each time an enemy attempts to place a provoke. So, if you continually try to be provoked, you guessed it, your turn meter will climb up 20% each time, which is a massive amount of turn meter. A massive amount. And there's a really good aura. Ally resist in all battles by 55%. I mean, overall, is not. I don't think I'll actually have the resources to get this champion. I'm not putting any money into this. I'm using the resources that the game will give me, and then I'm just going to base it on that. And if I can get it done, it's good. If I can't, then I'm not going to cry about it. But I'll put in some work. But keeping in mind, we have Purgator, some other champions that we've looked through that are just as good. And if they're brand new champions and you have little resources, then it's perfectly fine if you want to just head for a couple of rares and a couple of epics. Work within your means. It's going to cost you, the artifact enhancements, probably like 5-10 mil each. Champion training is going to cost you a sad load of chickens, which energy to get them leveled up in the first place, or brews, potions as far as getting the ascensions done. So please be very wary of your resources when you do this, because one of the epics that I am very much tempted to go for, and not the legendary, is Fane. And I've seen this person in action, and she's quite OP. She's decent for an epic. She is very, very good. So the first move is attacks one enemy 2 times. This is one of the champions I'm actually most excited about. Each hit, 35% chance, 50 when booked, of stealing 5% of the current target's current time meter. So, Ice Golem, for instance, you could go Faction Wars, you could take it into Arena and steal turn meter, slow your opponent down, help your team get that edge by getting their attacks out just in time. Attacks one enemy, 75% chance when booked at 100 and goes down to a 3-turn cooldown of placing 2 poison debuffs. Okay, cool. You have poisoners, it doesn't. It's not groundbreaking, but it's good. A decreased attack for 2 turns. I'll have that. On a 3-turn cooldown, 100% chance. Effectively cannot be resisted, so as long as you have more accuracy than their resistance, this will land every time. So, ladies and gentlemen, flowing style. This is her $1 million move, I would say. Now you have Paragon, and this is just an example. Paragon is like the ultimate unkillable. 2-turn unkillable, you just cannot be killed, and you can cheese him through campaign, as I've shown before. Tried him in Spider, but it's kind of iffy, it doesn't work all the time. War Maiden is a great example for a rare who has a massive AoE defense down. This is, stealing turn meter is great. Poison decrease attack is great because you're going to be taking less damage. Attacks one enemy 3 times. The first hit has a 75% chance, 100 when booked. Decreased defense. The second hit, 100% chance of placing a weaken for 3 turns. The third hit heals his champion by 4% of their max HP for every debuff on the target. So you're putting up debuffs, but if there's poisons already there, there's decreased speed and there's all this, like there's fears, true fears, whatever, then the heal is just going to be massive. This goes down to a 4-turn cooldown, but it's a 100% chance to land. The HP is kinda low, but she is an attack type champion, but the attack in itself is 1663, so you can bet your bag of Bobby's nuts that you can get that up to 5,000 easy. It's a very good starting attack number. The defense is terrible, the speed kind of sucks. So you're going to have to get some nice speed rolls, and potentially you don't, because you can speed tune and you can potentially be allowed to do this slower. I've seen her work in Clan Boss and she does pretty decent. Fane is one that I'm extremely interested in. But guys, if you do this fusion, be wary of your resources, because these events are scattered everywhere. It is not a case of you can get the first couple, then you can. It's not like you can get these four. And then when this dude comes out, you can then do the Spider Fire, Artifact Enhancement, Classic Arena, Champion Training. You can't just scatter these champions all over the place, so you will have to work for it. I mean, it's going to cost thousands of energy. Silver is going to go through the roof. Brews, just time, commitment. And if you can't get it done, if you don't have the resources to get it done, then why not just go for Caden? Why not just go for Fane or go for Purgator, Headsman? Essentially what I think I'm going to do. And I only say that because I genuinely do think I will have the resources to get some of these things finished, and I will just give you a quick example of why I say that. Now when we look at, is this the champion training one? Hurry up, load, drop. Champion, we've got a week to do it. It's up to 27,500 and there's like 300, 400 per champion that you 6-star. 300 points. So for F2P, if you're a free to play player, your chances are just non-existent, mate. You may get, if you're lucky, to Dune Strider if you've been preparing food. But this is all champions that are brand new. This is not champions that we've got sitting in the vault that we've really got to 40 that we can just throw straight in. Dungeon Divers is 1300. That one should be easy enough, but we're going to have to take a good look at that champion. See if he's any good. Artifact Enhancement is going to cost 5 mil an item. It will not be cheap. This will hammer your resources, but yeah, again, if you have money to put into the game, and a lot of people will, if I had the money, I probably would, I'd put some in. I wouldn't be going crazy with it. Ice Golem is something I never farm because I don't really have to, but I'm pretty sure that's Purgator, and that's pretty much the only reason why I'm here. And depending on the bracket, it might be okay. I might be able to climb a bit higher. But that's all down purely to the energy I get from the game. I'm saving the gems, and I'm pretty much not looking back. This fusion, it's just a bit of a shame. It's weird why you would do it. It's weird why we'd be looking at the vault of all those champions that I could level up if I chose to, and I can't because we don't need any of these champions. Like a normal fusion like Rosin, for instance, we do, because they're champions from the game. So it's kind of sneaky. This is Playdame's way of saying you're going to work for it. You're going to work for it, and if you're free to play, you're not going to get them. That's basically what Playdame's saying. So please be aware of your resources. If you go for this, it is going to cost you millions in silver, thousands and thousands of energy, thousands and thousands of gems, because you're probably going to be using gems to get energy refills. It's going to cost you brews. It's going to the food and the chickens. It's going to add up. But nonetheless, if you happen to get him, you could be very good in Doom Tower. I mean, not put him down, I just don't think I'm going to get him. He pretty much could be used in a plethora of places. And he's going to put out a stun and an increased chance. Say he's got 3 potions from Grip Attack, there's 45% extra chance. He's removing debuffs and one random debuff from all your allies using their defense, putting a shield on them. He's AoE and enemies and to move in buffs, putting up block heals, decreased defense. He's immune to provoke when you get that ascension level done. And he increases ally resist, so the skin of him is kinda, he's just a roly-poly. He's like Draco. There is a different character, I just can't think of the name for the love of Christ, what it is. He's got his alcohol on the side, he's got a sword on the side. I would be impressed if he could actually grab that sword. I'd pay to see it. He's got this kind of pineapple-y weird looking tail and all that. The design of the cutter is great. So if you're going for him, I wish you all the best, but please think of your resources. Even if you're not FTP, it's going to cost thousands and thousands and thousands. But yeah, again, there is a summoning event, and you may be lucky enough to pull most of these charts from shards. And if that's the case, and you pull a couple of these epics from shards, then you very much are well on your way to securing. You could pull Fane, you could pull, apart from Voids, you could pull these 3 epics. That sets you up real easy with 2 weeks, 3 days left. So guys, we've looked through it, we've looked through the champions. I've named a few that, if you're not going for this fusion, that are worth keeping around for faction wars, etc. And there are rares. Not just the epics that are worth it, the rares are really good. Keep in mind you have resources to maintain, and don't be wasteful. Like, if you're not going to manage to do it, don't think I'm going to commit to it because you're not going to get it done. Yeah. If you have the resources, all the best. But if you don't, then please be wary that it's really not FTP friendly. If half of these champions were new and half of these champions were champions from the vaults, we at least had a starting platform, but we don't. And that's all we've got to say about that. So, Vergumkar, new legendary champion. I wish everybody the best when fusing him. I probably won't. I will update people on my progress because I'm probably going to go for some of the other champions. I just don't have the resources to get this particular champion because of how kind of conniving Playroom have done it. And keep in mind, folks, Halloween they do something, Christmas they do something. And that's why this ends pretty much at Halloween. Then you're going to get a Halloween fusion, and after that you're going to get a Christmas one. So be aware of that. Don't use all your resources just now. Blender everything in, and then you've got a Halloween fusion 2 days after this finishes. So it would suck for any player, whether you're a free player or not. But this was a little review of Vergumkar and the other epics and the rares. I wish everybody the best when you attempt to fuse him, and just keep in mind, if you can't do it, don't do it. Your resources are extremely important, and keep on reading, guys.